Hello everybody. Welcome to my presentation. I'm going to start by just introducing it to you and let you know a little bit about why I chose this as a topic to present to the class. I was mulling over what topic I would use and coming up pretty empty, and then I got up one morning and just said Vietnam War Memorial. I now know it's Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And that kind of stuck with me. And there were a couple of reasons for that. One was that the Vietnam War was my era. I protested the war. It was when I was first an undergraduate, we would sit in coffee bars and coffee shops and discuss the war and debate the war. So it was very much a part of my undergraduate experience. When I came to Canada, I came to Vancouver in '72. The war was still on, and I met a number of draft dodgers. And in '75, when it ended, I was followed the news media and was really aware of the way that the returning vets were treated and the difficulties that they had adjusting. The second reason is that a few years ago, my husband and I went to Washington, D.C., and we did sort of a museum memorial crawl. Not usually my favorite thing to do, but by the end of it, I was thinking, wow, Washington, this is one thing Washington does. It does its memorials really well. And we were on the last day and we had just come from the Lincoln Memorial and thought, well, we should see the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, the wall. And so we walked over. And when I first looked at it, I thought, you've got to be joking. You got to be kidding me. This is it. This is what all the fuss has been about. Like, this is really dinky. Nevertheless, I was there, so I started to walk through the wall. And by the time I got halfway through, I was in tears. And when I left, I was forever changed. So it had an amazingly powerful impact on me. So I wanted to explore that, and I thought, if it has this impact on me, what kind of impact does it have on returning veterans, on their families? So I thought, I'll explore it and share those explorations with you. And as I explored it as a creative response to grief and bereavement and loss, I realized that it's actually a perfect creative response. It does exactly what it was intended to do, and it does it beautifully. So we'll get started, and at the beginning, I'm going to discuss why this form. Why did it take the form it did? Why did it take the form that had me saying, "You've got to be kidding me"? Because it is it breaks every norm of traditional war memorials. So it's totally different, and I'll show you some pictures in a minute so you can see that. And in order to understand why it took the form it did, we need to know a little bit about the Vietnam War, a little bit about the protests, about the domestic climate during the war, and a little bit about the climate that veterans came home to. And then I need to let you know, like, how it was created, whose creation was it, how did it come into being, and why did it take the form that it did. So some of you may have visited the memorial, the memorial wall, because there are a couple of other memorials, but I'm not going to talk about those. And some of you may have seen pictures of it, but some of you may be like me. I'm not into war. I'm not into military history, and I come and go from cities and never visit their war memorials. So this was my one-time deal, and it stuck with me. So let's go on to the next section.